Hey everybody, it's Steve. How's it going? Hey, this channel. You've seen this before. Usually my channel's pretty disorganized, and I just do it for fun. But I decided to start kind of doing it for maybe a tiny bit of educational purposes too, um, for people like me who are knuckleheads. Um, I'm still working it out, and I'm in my 50s now. Uh, I thought I had everything pretty figured out by the time I was 18. I always wanted kind of the same stuff, and shit just didn't work out. Um, I made a move when I was 17 to get a head start on stuff, and then I found out when I was 18 that even though that was a great idea, I made the wrong move, and and it wasn't a thing that I could have predicted. It was even something that had been recommended to me by my father and stuff, and he had made the same move and it worked for him. Just didn't work for me. Different time. And I spent a long time being kind of bitter about that, and really beating my head against the wall, trying to figure out how to make it work. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Just wasn't going to happen. There's an old saying that if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I'm not religious at all, actually, but I grew up in it, and uh, it's not that I don't believe in God. I believe in God. I just don't believe in anybody's opinion of what God is. Religion is complete bunk. It's religion in that I've ever read about. I've read about several of them. They're just a pacifier for people that are scared, and I've never been scared enough to try to trick myself into believing some stuff. So that's not a good thing. My scared is broken. It always has been. But anyway, hey, I am not a comedian, and I'm not a guru in any way, shape, or form. I am virtually a moron who has moments of lucidity. And if you want to watch this stuff, it gets interesting once in a while. I'm just about to start a new chapter. Again, I've done a lot of new chapters lately because I'm still just figuring it out. And no matter how old you are, you may find yourself one day 50 years old and you still haven't decided what you're going to be when you grow up. And you've decided 100 times, but it's never lasted the test of time, right? Um, I have ADHD. I never knew that I knew that it was something definitely different when I was a kid, but a cousin of mine had it too. His family, took him to a doctor and stuff, and they put him on Ritalin and all this kind of stuff. My family chose not to do that with me, and I don't know. He doesn't seem any more fitted to the world than I do now. So who knows whether that was a good idea or a bad idea? But either way, I'm basically like a rabid monkey, most of the time, or like animal. I'm a little calmer these days, but when I was a kid, everybody, extended family, the many times I was in the hospital for all the injuries I did to myself because I've never had a good fear um, instinct. And so I'm the one that would be like, five people standing around saying, I wonder what it'd be like to jump off top of that barn. I'd be like, ah, don't do it. Hospital. And that was literally me. That was an actual thing that happened. So, as an example, I don't have to make shit up. If I could write a book on all the times I should have gotten killed, and I mean literally killed, not some joke, I could write a whole book on that, and I wouldn't have to be a literary genius by any means. I would just literally, lay it out. But all that's been because I had some idea in my head about, oh, that might be fun, and then there was no version of common sense in there to try to protect my own life. And then miraculously, and I mean miraculously, that's why I do believe in God. I just don't understand it. I don't know what it is. And you're never going to hear me preach about it. That's for sure. But I shouldn't be here, other than the fact that there's, we're probably living a program, because I don't know why the program wants me around, but it has really worked hard at keeping me around. I used to joke that if, Catholics are right, and there is such a thing as like guardian angels and stuff like that, I have a platoon of them. And that when I die and go to heaven, they're going to really let me have it, because I have made sure that they were always working, like a fire department. So anyway, it's like watching kittens play. Okay, there's not a lot of thought or brilliance in it by any means, but it's slightly entertaining. So if you're interested in being entertained by somebody else's literal attempts at life, I don't think I'll bore you. I'm married to the person I fell in love with when I was 16. We did not get married at that time. We never even, held hands at that time, because she was with another guy. I didn't meet up with her again until I was 42. And we didn't start hanging out until I was, 43, 44, something like that. And, and I told her from the get go, I'm like, you want to be where, when we were just hanging out, I said, the last time in my 40s, I said, I'm like a rabid monkey, or a pet monkey, whatever. It's really entertaining for a bit, but it gets old. And I was just being honest, straight up, as coldly honest as I could with her. And she fucked up and decided to keep me around and wanted me to be around. And now she's hooked or something. I don't know. She's decided that she's given up on trying, for the perfect guy. And so she's somehow got screwed with me. And that's just how it is. So if you're interested in watching the antics, which is I'm not trying to be funny usually. If you're interested in being entertained, I got some ADHD for you. So, let me give you a quick little piece of background. I'm not going to go way into it, because believe me, that might be boring. My latest, I will slowly but surely give everybody all the background, and everybody will be scratching their heads like, how the fuck are you still alive? Really, I get that. But I'm 57 now, and I still haven't figured out what I want to be when I grow up. I've really worked at it for many, many, many decades now. And it sounds like a lot of decades, but 57 ain't no joke. So being older or getting older is not for the weak. I'm just saying, I'm not saying you should off yourself in your 40s, but that's the time. If you're gonna, that's the time. Maybe get right 250 and then that's it. Yeah, and make a plan, set a timer, something like that. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I don't think I'm going to do it. Just because once in a while there's these moments of fun that are pretty close to bliss, whatever that is. Not Fort Bliss, different. But anyway, let me give you the last, 5 years. How's that sound? Quick synopsis of 5 years. Was working as a maintenance supervisor, for a long time, maintenance supervisor for a company that I had worked for many years before. Suddenly have developed physical problems, and I had to stop that. Boil that down. After a year of testing and stuff like that, they found out I have MS, multiple sclerosis. And so that changed my entire thing. I was the most physical person I've ever met in my entire life. um, not an Adonis, not 5% body fat type of thing. I was closer to being like Jake from the Blues Brothers, a little extra pounds, but I could also do backflips. Give you an idea. And so I spent my life being extremely physical. I brilliantly prided myself on being able to outwork anybody. I could pretty much out hike anybody, things like that. And and I loved it. And then that all came crashing to a stop with the whole MS thing. So I started going back to school for a master's degree in business. And 6 years later, I had earned a BBA in marketing and an MBA in project management. Um, all that stuff has made me understand business a lot more. And I've had several businesses in my past because, ADHD makes sure that you don't just do it one time. You do it a bunch of times. But I understood after that was all done what I had done wrong with those other businesses and why they wouldn't work. And now, of course, I've tried two more businesses. First, I should, not bite off that much. I did open another business, did all the groundwork for it, everything. And realized at the very end of the opening that I needed funding to properly market it. And there's a giant rule in business: do not borrow money. Don't ever borrow money until you've got a really clear, proven income that pays it as you go, kind of thing. You only ever borrow money when it's set in stone, and you have other people like bank executives look at it too, and they're like, "I'm in." But so then I'm like, okay, well, that business won't work. So I started another business that it's just a consultancy, in something I've done in the past, and it was called Professional Maintenance Consulting. And so, literally, that one is just me teaching, and I put it all together, but me teaching investors and property owners and stuff like that how to set up their maintenance program, which is extremely costly. It's the number one thing that can kind of make or break properties like rental properties, apartment complexes, stuff like that. Because lots of people know how to manage, but very few people. It takes years to learn how to set up a maintenance program, and that information is almost never passed along to the people that would then invest. So they are kind of at the mercy of hiring older guys like me who have done it for a long time and got really lucky and got trained right in the first place. And that is kind of rare. The way I got into it was just pure luck. But again, that's not really taken off either. And so on for my next trick, I am going to drive a truck semi for money. While I was attending college, I was a bus driver for a city. I'm not going to name them, but anyway, a city in the Midwest, and just for extra money while I was going to school for the 6 years. I was going on to online school, but it was still pretty intensive work schedule and stuff, and through University of Arkansas Grantham. So graduated this last June, and it's now January. So graduated in June 2025, and I know a lot of neat stuff, but it hasn't worked out yet to find a good paying job. And I could easily get a job where that I did a 9 to 5 or show up every day, except that my wife very recently, just a few months ago, was offered a great promotion at her work. Um, and so now we travel around the country for her company. And she was an apartment complex manager, and we did that before together, um, you know, for a long time. And she's really good at it. She has 2 master's degrees. She's the smartest person I know. And her company figured that out and decided to promote her. There's 3 other people in this nationwide company that go around and rescue troubled, underperforming properties. Um, it's a really interesting. It's like an addiction, really. Doing the investigation and then teaching them how to fix it, um, because it's can be a variety of things, which is really up my alley. So, but I have to travel with her, which is just terrible, right? Right now we're in Baton Rouge, and this is Frank, by the way. In case you, what do you think, Frank? Anyway, so me going into a 9 to 5 won't work. I have to work remotely or something like that. And so my next iteration, we were traveling back home to my wife's to our house and to where my wife's family lives, for the holidays, and I saw the back of a semi that said 2,500 plus a week, and I thought, holy shit, that's actually better than I knew they made. I've checked since then, and they don't all make that. A popular company, Werner, um, pays 900 a week, but still, that's not shabby. And I decided that that's a good place to start earning money, and that I can start focusing that on the first business, which is Sunshine Home Cleaning. It's an industry I've never been involved with and stuff, and that's one of the reasons why it really works, for me, for anybody really, that people that the most common way to own a business is almost always the wrong way. People do what they've done all their life. I've been a contractor, home builder, maintenance worker, meaning I'm a qualified electrician. Um, I don't have a state license. I have what's called an LME, limited maintenance electrician license, which is now expired because there's no reason for me to have it other than to learn it. It's what I did in the first place, and I'm capable of doing all those things because I really loved the maintenance thing. It's always something different, which is right up my alley. Then I opened my own business a couple of different times in different markets, and one the last one that I opened up, COVID killed it. I was actually doing pretty well. I've been around for about 9 or 10 months, and then everybody was told by the news and stuff, stop having people in your home that aren't part of your family, and so the business died. I'm like, okay, fine, take that as a warning. I finished school, and realized that there's a book, by the way. It's called the E-Myth Revisited, and I highly recommend it. The E-Myth Revisited. So, if you're ever going to open your own business, don't do it in something you know. The business is really what you need to know. Business, not the particular skill. If you love to bake pies, don't open a bakery. Don't do it. It will not work for you. If you do clean homes for a living, and that's what you've always done, don't open that business. It will not work for you. It will never grow. You will not treat it correctly. Okay. If you're a maintenance guy or a construction guy, do not open a construction company or anything like it, because you will end up trying to do all the work yourself, and that is not how you manage a business. So the trick for me, once I finally learned after all these years, what I'd been doing wrong, was to open up a cleaning business, a home cleaning business, because I am never going to be cleaning somebody's home. I actually did that at one time. I tried that to open a cleaning business before I knew the tricks. And that's the one that COVID closed. And, but I learned a lot since then. I mean, all through COVID and then after COVID for several years, for a couple years. And now I understand the whole point of it. But you still need the funding for the marketing to get it off the ground and get people noticed. And maybe I'll walk you guys through one day what my plan is that way and how that's going to work. But either way, my next adventure is I've got a CDL because I was a bus driver. But to be a bus driver, you only have to get a Class B CDL, which is not, because buses are all just one thing. You're not towing a trailer. I used to have a Class A CDL that I got on a whim. Again, ADHD. But I gave that license up when I switched from one state to another and got my new driver's license. I didn't think I would ever need it again. That was really stupid. One of my huge list of really stupid things I've done. Now I want it back so that I can start driving semis. And so we're now in Baton Rouge, and I've been making moves to get all this stuff done. And it's just a myriad of things that I have to do. One of them was I had to get a new DOT physical. And you have to have them depending on what they find with your health, once every 2 or 3 years or a year, depending if you have like diabetes or something. Mine that I had expired. It was good for 2 years and now it's not good anymore. So I have to get a new one. So I got the physical, and the people at the place, it was pretty unprofessional, but that's how DOT physical places are. A lot of times they're really, they crank it out really fast and they're not exactly highly qualified very often. In this particular place, they were really nice. They just weren't qualified. And so the lady thought I have no peripheral vision, which my peripheral vision's awesome. But she didn't do the test right. So sent me to an eye doctor. And then the eye doctor said, your peripheral vision's fine. She might be real sweet, but she doesn't know what she's doing. And so, but now we have to go through the numbers on this. And so now I have to, on the 7th of January this month, I have an appointment to go to a special place that has this special machine, to get that done. And so then I will officially have my DOT physical completed. Then I need to go get my Louisiana CDL, which I have an Iowa CDL, and I just need to get it transferred to Louisiana. And on the 12th, I begin a class to get my Class A CDL and a couple more endorsements that I want. I have passenger and air brakes right now, but I want to get hazardous material and tanker truck endorsements. And so I'm taking the class for the Class A and those two things. So in, I don't know, month or two, I'm guessing, I'll be driving a truck and for a living. And my hope is to drive over the road, meaning all over the country, as far west as, that's what I'm hoping for, as I can go. And I will be taking you guys with me. So you guys are going to see everything I see. I've got meta glasses, and so I'll be, putting that footage in there and stuff like that. And I've got a dash cam that I'll be using also that way. And I have another camera that will be on me on the dash. And so you'll be with me for all my adventures, which I can't even imagine. Frankly, I know me well enough to know that it's going to be a lot of embarrassing shit, which, luckily when somebody else, stubs their toe, other people laugh usually. So I have learned that my everyday life is entertaining to other people, as long as you can turn the channel off, because if you were stuck with me, man, you'd be fucked. Because I can't get away, and I really wish I could, but I can't. So this is going to be my new channel. So there's lots of stuff in my uh, old part of my life that you can research and see where I was a bus driver and all that different kind of stuff, and where I took a trip to Oregon to start my cleaning business, and that didn't work out, and yet. But this is the start, and so I'm still under 30 minutes, and so I'm going to sew this up, and um, I'm still working it out. 57 years old, but I'm still working it out. And the reason I titled my channel this is because I've found that a ton of people, regardless of how old they are, find that they're still working it out. Never give up. I never give up. You couldn't even believe the list of bullshit I've had to deal with in my life that is abnormally dense, abnormally high. Most of it's because I'm an idiot. But there will be times when you'll say to yourself, geez, he's articulate and, seems kind of well read and da 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 da. How is he that big of a moron? And you will be introduced to one of the biggest conundrums of my life. And I am not a MAGA person. So that's one more, piece of the mystery. You know, I try not to get really political, but I'm an old guy, so that's how we are. But I'll try not to do that because I know that's really annoying to a lot of people. It's annoying to me, and I'm the one that's doing it. So I would try not to subject that to you guys to that. So anyway, thanks for watching this whole thing. And, I can show people by my example of how to become a truck driver. I can tell you that right now. First things first, if you were actually going to do that, is buy a book on CDLs. Okay, I'm in Louisiana, so I bought a Louisiana CDL book and study it. Then take a class and get your permit, your learner's permit, and and your DOT physical, and they give you a little card that says you've got it and it's current. And then take a class to get your CDL, and you're going to need that because the class has the semi that you test in at the end. And if you don't have a semi to test in, you can't get a CDL. So, or, a Class A CDL. So no matter what your skill level is, and I've had a Class A CDL that I just gave away, and I have one, a Class B right now, so I don't need to take the test other than the fact that if I want my Class A, which means semis, I have to be able to qualify in that. So that's that. All right, you guys have a great day, and don't give up. Don't give up. Keep figuring it out. You'll get it eventually, or you won't. The last moments on earth for me will be going, shit, I didn't figure it out. Damn it. All right, man. You guys have a great day.